similar wheelbase to you guys, probably. Maybe a little bigger. Do you think he's too wide?
I don't know. He just doesn't have the clearance that we have.
No, you don't really need clearance. There's not a lot of big boulders here. This is a gnarly picture.
Oh shit!
What? What shit?
I got too close. I'm too close to the edge.
Can you get out?
Stop. Everybody stop.
Okay, stop.
Everybody stop. I got too close to the edge. I might need a spot back here to get out.
I'm gonna get out.
Yeah, I need a set of eyes back here.
We're not in a good spot.
Alright, we'll try to figure it out.
No, mount's coming.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and I'm sorry, I have been gone for a little while. I do apologize for my extended break from YouTube, but there were a couple of reasons behind that. First one, end of the year with wedding season was really crazy, and so I was just really focusing on that, trying to get through so that I could, you know, cruise into the slow season as seamlessly as possible. But the bigger reason is that I decided in order to get this channel to the next level, it was time to up my editing game. And so what I did is I made a purchase. Check this out. Alrighty guys, well this is my new setup here. Went with a 2021 Mac Mini with the M1 chip. This is a 16 gigabyte RAM version. It is screaming fast, and it is going to be able to run my video editing software, no issues at all. My old Windows computer is pretty old. It's about 5 or 6 years old. It doesn't have the best processor, and running anything other than the old school Windows Movie Maker was just an absolute pain. Now I have something that I can run the highest end video processing programs without any issue. So that is one of the biggest reasons why we took a break. So I am currently editing some Sand Hollow stuff, which is going to be the next series to come up right after we finish with this Colorado series. And yeah, very cool. I'm super excited with how everything is set up. I'll actually do a whole separate video on this setup a little bit later down the road, just to kind of tell you guys what exactly I did, just in case you're interested. So there you go. All right, well, without further ado, if you are one of the loyal faithful that have been hanging out and following the channel, you know that on our last episode, I was coming down Black Bear Pass and I got myself into a little bit of a sticky situation. So in this video, we're gonna show you how we got out of it. So let me give you guys a little bit of context on exactly what happened here. So this particular section of Black Bear Pass is called the Steps, and it basically takes you down this kind of little narrowish area. There is a gorgeous waterfall / river thing kind of flowing down the driver's side here, and I was just so enamored and in awe of the scenery. Being able to see that window to Telluride straight in front of me was just something that it was a hard time to take my eyes off of. And the incredible like rock formations, and there's just the water coming down through this sort of canyon channel just off to the driver's side here also really got my attention. And then what happened is I wasn't keeping a good eye on the road, and the next thing I know, I feel the driver's side start to dip down just a little bit. I hit the brakes and I looked out the window and I saw that I was in deep trouble.
Tiny bit. Slow.
Go. Go slow. Low, go. Go.
Hold on. Should we wench him and maybe back him up?
How? We're all behind in front
Well,
of you.
I know, but is there something? Not really. There's nothing to wench him on.
We may need to wait for those guys to come down and then have them pull you backwards. I don't like it.
So let me point out a few things that you might not be able to see in the video. First off is that the trail is not perfectly flat and level. It does lean a little bit towards the ravine here, and so we have gravity working against us as far as the Jeep potentially sliding further towards the edge. Second of all, you might say, well, why don't you just back out of this thing? Well, the problem with that is you can see there's a lot of loose rock right underneath the front tire, and what you can't see is all the loose rock that's hidden behind it, kind of underneath where the axle is. Also, there is a bit of a depression there, so if I were to try to back up, not only would the wheel drop down into this depression, which was about 12 inches deep, but as it backed down into that depression, the loose rock would have contributed to the front end sliding downhill and in towards the ravine. So we didn't want to take that chance. If you look at the rear, you can see that the dip is much, much worse. So pulling forward through this thing would have been even more dangerous. That drop, as you can see, is larger than the size of my 38-inch tire. So you're looking at a 3 to potentially 4 foot drop if we continue to roll forward through this thing, coupled with gravity pulling you downhill towards the ravine and all of that loose rock underneath the tire. There was just no way to move this thing forward without potentially going over the cliff.
I almost feel like if he goes fast enough this way.
That is not.
I mean, it's a tricky maneuver. But not fast, I'm saying, but just kind of a little bit. Because. Oh, they're coming? Okay, they're coming, so we're going to go talk to them.
Well, the decision was made to pull backwards out of this thing. However, what we could not see is just how much daylight there was behind that front tire. There is really no trail to grab onto once we started moving this thing in reverse, and it was pretty much a guarantee that that tire was going to slide down into that depression, throw the Jeep off camber, and we were probably looking at a potential rollover down the hill at this point. Of course, Annabelle made it a point to videotape some of the beautiful views that I was looking at. This is all the stuff that took my eyes off the road. And once again, I recommend you guys, if you're on Black Bear Pass, please, please, please keep your eyes on the trail at all times.
All right, we got help. Thankfully, a Jeep with the winch was behind us.
So he's low, he's locked, he's e-braked, he can go in reverse, and we will strap him to the other Jeep, okay? And he's got a 10,000 pounder. I'm going to control it. I'm not going to stop, okay? When I back up, we're backing up.
Do you want me
I don't like this at all. I don't feel comfortable.
You want to get out and check it out?
I'm gonna fall into the
You're not. You got two Jeeps holding you up, and he's going to be in reverse. You got your rear out of the ravine. I think it's better to have your front in the ravine a little bit than your rear.
So I think you guys can hear the distress in my voice at this point. From where I'm sitting in the driver's seat and from what I can see, it just doesn't look good. I don't think going in reverse is the right play here. I see too many issues happening in this moment that could potentially be really, really bad. And so guys, this is where you really need to trust your gut. If you are not feeling it, if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel good, it's time to stop, take a break, and reassess.
I'm still feeling really not good about this.
It's not a good situation, buddy.
Is there anything on this hillside to my right that I can put my winch on?
Let me look.
So guys, when you're in a hairy situation, there is just absolutely no excuse for leaving anything on the table. And in this case, I have a perfectly good winch on the front of my Jeep that we could use to maybe secure that front end to something on the hillside, put a little tension there, and that way ensure that as we pull the Jeep backwards, we can also tension that winch line up to something on the hill and pull that front end up and away from the ravine from tumbling over.
Yeah, this thing's pretty solid in the ground. It's pretty rooted.
I would feel way better if I was strapped to that on the front end.
Okay, all right.
Look at this production Dave got himself into. on the cliff here into the waterfall.
Don't worry about it.
Here, you want to throw it up to me? Oh, careful.
You need to send Janine down because the connector, the controller for my winch is in the back on the trunk.
You want to be in charge of this? Ah, I'm not right now. Does he want to make it?
Hey, go easy.
If that tree snaps off. Yeah, it's picking up his front. Okay, but now
Now, as soon as we had full tension on both of the winch lines and I could feel the Jeep starting to slide a little bit back onto the trail, I wanted to help it along just a little bit. And so I started to shimmy the tires, front tires, back and forth, which allowed the Jeep to crab walk its way back to the center of the trail.
But now his back is coming forward.
No, it's going that way too.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's also coming forward. Okay, your driver's side is off the ground. Now pull him back. Good. He looks good. Now his back is coming forward.
No, it's going that way too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yay!
Okay, your driver's side is off the ground.
Okay, hang on. Hold up, Dave. Hold up. There, perfect.
Now pull him back.
How's he look?
Good. He
Okay.
looks good.
Okay, Dave, you're in a good spot. It's gonna be in a good spot. It's gonna back you up, okay?
Just straight. Just. We need to unhook him? Okay. On that little tree stump right there. Careful, Matt's under the thing back there.
Okay.
So just straight.
Your tires, you are on the road and you're in a good spot.
Well, guys, I know it looks like on video that I'm in a good spot now and I can continue just rolling forward, but truth be told, we decided that the rear end was still just a little bit cockeyed and a little bit close to the edge. You do have to turn a little bit driver as you come around this corner, and we didn't want to cut again too close and have that rear end potentially drop into that depression. So the decision was made to back up, reset, and roll through this section on the right line as you're supposed to.
See? Yeah.
Not yet.
Driver, a little bit.
Hold that line.
Passenger.
There you go.
Alrighty guys, well, a couple of lessons to be learned out of this one. So first and foremost, keep your eyes on the road. You know, Colorado is incredibly beautiful. The San Juan Mountains are breathtaking, and it is easy to get distracted when you're driving around on these trails. But on a trail like Black Bear Pass, especially the switchbacks and the area here like the steps, it is so imperative to keep your eyes on the road and not get distracted. So make sure that you heed lesson number 1, keep those eyes on the road. Lesson number 2, and this was a big one that I hope you guys were able to kind of figure out as you watched this video. You could see some of the distress in my voice as we were planning out how we were going to recover the Jeep. And you know, I just didn't like it. It was something that wasn't setting right with me, and I wasn't happy with the original plan to just pull the Jeep back. I saw too many red flags from where I was sitting. And you know, that was when my gut and my instincts said it is time to come up with a different plan. I don't see this going well. And that is rule number 2, lesson number 2 out of this video, is to trust your instinct, guys. If it doesn't look right, if it doesn't feel right, that's when it's time to take that time out, refocus, reset, get a fresh set of eyes on it, look at it from a different angle, and for heaven's sake, use everything that you have in your arsenal. You know, it made total sense to me to get that front end secured to something using that winch. God forbid, what would have happened if we'd have rolled that thing backwards without the front end secure, and it did slide in and fall over, and we could have ended up in a really, really bad situation. So use everything that you've got, don't leave anything on the table, and make sure that you ensure a good recovery. And guys, rule number 3, and this should be rule number 1, and that is don't wheel alone. You know, it was very, very fortunate that we put this trip together with you know, 2 other couples that are incredibly supportive and experienced. A huge shout out and thank you again to Matt and Deb and to Annabelle and Gonzalo for being there to help out with this recovery. Another huge shout out again to my wife for being probably more calm in this situation than I was. But again, she was able to get out of the Jeep, look around, see some of the things that I couldn't see, and really help give a perspective as we tried to figure out a game plan. And then of course, Black Bear Pass is a very well-traveled and especially in the summertime, a busy trail. We knew it wasn't going to be very long before we had some company. And so luckily the group that was following us was experienced, and they had lots of great recovery gear from winches and tow straps. And so we were able to put together a great recovery team and get back, you know, on the trail and down safely. So guys, there you have it. Make sure that you keep your eyes on the road, trust your instincts when things don't look right, and never wheel alone. Guys, thank you so much for you know, sticking around for this long. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my channel, I would love it if you would do that. Please follow me along. It helps to support me, and that allows me to continue making great content for you guys. Thank you again. We appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.